If there is one area that the Suns have struggled in, it is clutch time, gentlemen. The Suns have zero assists in clutch time in this series. Clutch time, of course, is the last 5 minutes with the score within 5 points. Games 1 through 3 were not close enough down the stretch to have clutch time. So there's really only been 7 minutes that we're talking about. So we have to remember, small sample size theater. It's just not good, even in a small sample size. During clutch time in the last 2 games, Phoenix has been outscored 21-6. They've shot 2 for 9 to go along with 0 assists and 3 turnovers. So, Richard, it's a low bar. I'm asking you to hop over here, but how could the Suns be just a little bit better in the clutch if it comes down to a close game tonight?
Pretty much anything at this point in time. Look, it can always get worse, but could they be better? They could. This dude over here, it's sighing, taking a breath. But no, it could be 100% better. They got to clean it up. Now, when you look at their assists, I don't think that that's a great indication because they have ISO guys. Like late in game, Booker, go get a bucket. Chris Paul, go get a bucket. They have dominated in that space. But when you see the 3 turnovers, that's the key because these games are so close that when you get turnovers like you saw last game, when you get turnovers late in these games, that's the issue, right? And so they can be better, but I think it's more the turnovers versus the assists. You got to clean and get a shot every single time.
Well, I think, when you look at the formula that they had in games 1 and 2, everybody was touching the ball. We were showing tape of the ball swinging. I think it was, 9 to 10 passes.
12 at one point.
12 at a point, getting great shots, passing up good shots to get great shots. And what I've been noticing is yes, Devin Booker has been getting off. Yes, he has been scoring 40 on tough contested 2s and tough contested 3s, but it's been taken away from everyone else, including CP3, right? CP3 hasn't had the ball in his hands of late, especially last game. We saw times where he was standing in the corner. And I think when the Phoenix Suns are at his best, they have the ball in Chris Paul's hands, and they're running their sets. They're double stagger with DeAndre Ayton and Devin Booker, where Ayton is rolling to the basket, Devin Booker is popping, and now you're getting these switches and these mismatches. And then it translates to the defensive end. When everybody is touching the ball offensively, defensively, you are starting to get engaged, right? Because we're seeing guys not helping. We're watching DeAndre Ayton get put on the island by himself against Giannis, and guys are not digging. Guys are not showing help. Like, guys are not engaged. They have to get back to boxes and elbows, helping the helper, and being engaged as a team on both ends of the floor.
Well, Perk, that's why I would say that, Richard, you said the assists don't matter that much. To me, the assists are the thing. Because, first of all, I'm going to credit the Bucks' defense. They played some very good defense, which has caused some of those turnovers. That ball did not pop out of Devin Booker's hands by itself at the end of Game 5. That was Drew Holiday and P.J. Tucker sort of combining to do that work. But the assists are something that is in their control. Passing the ball, like Perk is talking about. We talked in the first 2 games that all season Monty Williams has preached the 0.5 offense. Not 7 seconds are left, 0.5 seconds. And the idea is that within half a second, as a Suns player, you are supposed to be able to make a decision. Do you drive, pass, or shoot? Those 3 things. That's not happening if a guy is ISOing.
That's not. Go ahead.
And Rachel, that's a great point, and I wanted to bring this up. Even look at the last possession where Drew Holiday got the strip. They were able to go boxes and elbows because it was an isolation play. When we are used to looking at the Phoenix Suns team, they have a lot of player movement. They have a lot of action going on. When you go isolation, it's easy for a team like Milwaukee to load
and
up.
Look, we're not going to play the hindsight game. Should they call a timeout? Should they not? But what you get from a timeout is you would get some sort of movement.
Right.
You would get some sort of misdirection. And again, the Bucks have been criticized for a lack of movement at times. When you would just have Giannis stand at the key and then just try and go and then distribute. Movement creates offense in an easier way.
Okay, so Perk, you mentioned CP. Is he the player to you that needs to step up the most tonight, or is it someone else on the Suns side?
No, I think it's Cameron Payne and Cam Johnson. I mean, Cameron Payne, when you think about his playoff run this season alone, he had some historical nights off the bench. He was a spark for them. I'm talking about, coming out having 25 plus. He has been a non-factor in these finals. And you think, like, with CP3 times that he was struggling, you thought that Cam Payne will come in and be that guy that could be a spark, give them that energy like he has been in the first couple of rounds. He haven't been there in the finals.
Yeah, and I think it's the secondary player also, for the Suns because Chris Paul, whether he's 100% healthy or not, I think you're kind of capped at what he's going to get. Is he going to give us a 37-point night? If he does, they're going to win. I think Devin Booker has maxed out what he's capable of doing. So when you start looking at Ayton, you start looking at Cam Johnson, you start looking at Mikal Bridges, you start looking at Jay Crowder. Those are the individuals you're like, one of y'all going to have to go for 20-plus. One of you are going to have a Drew Holiday-type night where you were just everywhere, and that's the issue right now for the Phoenix Suns.
I mean, look, it's going to be taking all of them. Let's not kid ourselves, right? And it is hard to win 4 games in a row, and that's something the Suns can lean on.
Well, you know what? I was very critical of Mike Budenholzer, but I'm going to say this. The tides have turned. Like right now, in my opinion, and like when you look at far as these last 3 games, he's out coaching Monty Williams. Like Monty Williams has had some suspect substitutions. He has not changed up his playbook or his defense at all yet and adjusted to the Milwaukee Bucks far as with them putting Giannis at the 5 and things to that nature.
Well, part of it's hard, too, to make adjustments when you have a more thin roster. And I will keep saying this. I think that Dario Saric injury after Game 1 of these NBA Finals, I understand at the time it's not the flashiest name in this series, so a lot of people didn't pay a ton of attention to it, but it makes them thin enough at that position. It has hampered some of the adjustments that they can make and the rosters that they can roll out there.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.